I was about to give up on tracking global AI safety when a sudden move from Beijing changed my entire perspective. You are ignoring global policy shift while the rules of technology are being rewritten permanently. This single update will affect how you build and use intelligent software forever. Most developers look at international compliance as a dry, distant regulatory issue that only affects massive enterprise software firms. That is a dangerous mistake. When China Premier Li Qiang takes the global stage at the World AI Conference to warn that we risk losing control of autonomous systems, the playground ends. He specifically demanded a global red line for AI governance, signaling a massive pivot away from raw, unrestricted product iteration towards strict state-monitored boundaries. If you think your local projects or unaligned workflows are safe from this tightening net, you are missing the macro trend. This shift is not just about state security, it is about controlling the foundational infrastructure of the future. And this is where the real problem begins for the rest of the world. The core issue is that previous regulatory attempts failed because they tried to govern code instead of governing data or compute power. Traditional framework models treat artificial intelligence like simple static software, which completely misses how recursive self-improvement operates. Premier Li Qiang emphasized that the rapid development of intelligent systems requires a unified global governance framework to prevent an accidental, unaligned takeoff event. China is pushing hard for international standardization because uncoordinated guardrails leave massive security gaps that unaligned systems can easily exploit. Think of it as trying to build a global digital fence where one country leaves the gate wide open. This realization has sparked an intense, behind-the-scenes race to establish the baseline rules of engagement. What they discovered during these high-level summits changes the entire geopolitical chessboard. Look at the concrete numbers emerging from recent international summits to understand the true scale of this legislative push. During the recent sessions in Switzerland, Chinese representatives met directly with Western officials to map out specific, concrete thresholds for catastrophic AI risks. This marked a historic milestone, being the first formal, bilateral negotiation tracking weaponized code and autonomous infrastructure exploits between the two leading tech powers. Industry data shows that over 70% of frontier laboratories lack public, verifiable safety protocols for unexpected model behaviors. By forcing these closed-door discussions into the public eye, Beijing is positioning itself as the primary architect of global tech safety standards. This is not a theoretical exercise anymore, it is an active blueprint for global enforcement. The practical reality of how this alters your daily stack is hitting the market faster than you think. Navigating this new era requires a fundamental shift in how you build, deploy, and evaluate intelligent digital pipelines. You must stop relying on completely opaque, black-box third-party application programming interfaces without secondary, deterministic verification layers. Successful engineers are already pivoting toward local, open-weight architectures that feature hard-coded execution boundaries and transparent runtime auditing. Build a separate, lightweight monitoring layer that intercepts every single model call to check against strict security heuristics before any external action triggers. This guarantees your software remains fully functional and completely compliant even if centralized global APIs face sudden regulatory blocks or compliance shutdowns. Only 3% of developers are actively building these defensive, redundant setups right now. The rest are exposing themselves to massive systemic operational risks, and the stakes are climbing fast. The biggest underlying risk of this sudden regulatory alignment is the inevitable creation of a highly fractured, heavily policed global internet. As nations race to enforce their own versions of these red lines, we are moving directly into a strict, block-based technology ecosystem. Premier Li Qiang explicitly noted that while governance is mandatory, the world must avoid artificial technological decoupling that disrupts vital international supply chains. This reveals the delicate tightrope walk happening right now, trying to enforce absolute control without totally crushing native commercial innovation. If compliance costs skyrocket, open-source development could face extreme legal pressure, leaving only a handful of massive tech conglomerates in control of the most powerful models. The window for open, unrestricted digital experimentation is closing fast, and a completely different paradigm is taking over. What comes next will completely redefine the relationship between state authority and autonomous software architectures. We are heading toward an environment where models will be legally required to have built-in kill switches and state-certified alignment profiles before public release. Remember what I said at the beginning, this structural shift alters the baseline rules for every person interacting with intelligent software systems globally. The nations that successfully write these rules will dictate the economic terms of the entire digital age for the next several decades. You can either watch from the sidelines as these massive bureaucratic walls go up, or you can adapt your development strategy right now to thrive inside a highly regulated tech environment. The future belongs to those who build securely within the boundaries. What happens to unprotected workflows next will surprise you. If you want to stay ahead of these massive global shifts before they rewrite the rules of technology, subscribe and hit the bell. If you want to stay ahead of these massive global shifts before they rewrite the rules of technology,